So the government has announced a significant increase in the use of electronic monitoring, and we decided to work with members of our Justice Exchange to really understand their experiences in the context of that increase, to understand what works, what needs to improve, and what we can do to change things for the better. So we carried out a number of interviews, we carried out a survey, and we had 57 people respond who had been subject to electronic monitoring, and that included a majority who had been on a curfew tag, but others who had also been on a GPS or an alcohol tag. Some people we spoke to told us that they liked being on electronic monitoring, and actually some people had wanted to be under electronic supervision. And that's because they told us that that helped increase their accountability. They were able to show that they were complying with their requirements. But others also told us how it had put up barriers for them, particularly around some of the things that we know make a difference to reintegration and rehabilitation. For example, putting up barriers to getting work and getting certain types of employment, or keeping in contact with family and friends. We heard from people about the technological challenges that their devices caused as well. For example, tags not working properly, or going off when they were at home but suggesting they weren't in their homes, or then not charging properly. What we heard from people is how much this increased their anxiety, particularly about the potential consequences, because of course those breaches could lead to recall to prison. There are also real challenges for certain groups of people with electronic monitoring. For example, around 1,000 people a month are released from prison homeless. It's really hard to see how curfew tags or other tags can really be used for that group at the minute. We need to do much more to ensure that everyone who's released from prison is released with somewhere to live. We recognise that electronic monitoring can play an important role in the management and supervision of people in the community. We would encourage, however, that it's not seen as a silver bullet. We know that this doesn't necessarily work for everyone, and it certainly should never replace the one-to-one personal support that we know makes all the difference to people in the community. We made a number of recommendations in this report. For example, we've recommended that there's more flexibility around curfew requirements to ensure that people can take up and stay in work and can keep in contact with family members. We've also recommended that devices are fitted without delay and in a time frame that doesn't stop people from attending vital appointments on the day of release. We hope that the government really take on board these recommendations in light of the significant expansion of electronic monitoring. And we look forward to continuing to work with the members of our Justice Exchange to hopefully make these recommendations a reality, and we do the best we can to ensure we follow the evidence of what works to reduce reoffending and create safer communities.